Hi, I'm Warren Sprouse. I'm host of the Bible Forum. Meets every Sunday night right here on the BibleForum.net from 8 until 10 p.m. And of course, these YouTubes can be watched anytime, anywhere. And right now, I want to talk to you about what no political candidate will ever say. They won't bring it up, they won't talk about it. They will not talk about the fact that the United States is not a democracy. They'll never tell you it's not a democracy. They'll never tell you the U.S. Constitution is rooted in biblical principle. They won't tell you that. They won't tell you that men and women are uniquely different. Not allowed to do that either. Or that without God, the entire culture is vulnerable to the loudest voice. Or that the traditional family structure is the strength of the society. Things that in the 1950s and 60s and 70s were just common knowledge, they're not going to talk about. They can't bring them up. In part because no one under the age of 50 years has any idea what they're talking about. No one under the age of 50 believes any of those things if they should bring them up. They have been re-educated. They've been sent off to re-education camps called state schools, federal schools now. Federal government took over the state school. All you have to do is listen to the conversation. Young adults have been so influenced by the profane culture as to be insensitive to these philosophical concepts. They're not being taught any of this stuff in school. They're not having it modeled for them anywhere at home or in their community. Even the churches have turned away, providing parties instead of catechisms. Nobody's instructing anybody in the basis or the rudiments of their faith or their government. This year is the celebration of the 800th birthday of the Magna Carte. Did you know that? Do you care? It should be a big deal in Western society. It was over in Great Britain. And we sent, I think we sent, who did we send? We sent the Attorney General. I think we sent the Attorney General. Why do we send a lawyer? I'll tell you why. Did you see any specials this past week dedicated to this seminal document? Over the years, we've been treated to folks, educated so-called, who denigrate the influence of the document, that particular document, on Western culture in general and upon U.S. law in particular. That in 1287, I think it was, the English crown would bow to the will of the people. That the principle of law was superior to the authority of the crown. That it didn't work all that well or for very long is not important. It happened. It's there, and our form of government is based on those principles. Law is king, not people. This is the principle that undergirds our entire existence as a society. Because of it, citizens can go about their business without fear of arbitrary reprisals from the government. Citizens can rest easy knowing that those in government are bound by the same legal strictures as are they. Citizens do not have to fear their government. Citizens' rights are inviolate due to the Bill of Rights. Can you see why no candidate for office wants to talk about any of this? Ron Paul just wrote a piece for townhall.com in which he develops the idea that the death penalty is big government at its worst, declaring it wasteful and inefficiency. Well, I have a news flash for Dr. Paul. Without capital punishment, none of our laws mean anything. Without capital punishment, we are in a lawless society. We're on a sliding scale. If you can't provide the ultimate punishment, then you're simply making suggestions in regard to law and punishment. You're not really serious. You don't mean business. And every serious criminal that has ever lived knows that. Without the death penalty, we will soon find our courts overcrowded and our auxiliary system so overextended that we'll be changing the laws to provide ever-increasing jail time until that doesn't work. And then we'll be raising the bar higher so fewer lawbreakers are incarcerated. Wait, that's just what we've been doing. Do you remember when the law was passed where you had mandatory sentencing? That was because these crazy lawyer judges weren't sentencing people. They were letting them off. You can't do that. Throw them in jail. And now what have we got? Overcrowded jails. Yeah. And why do we have overcrowded jails? Because we hate capital punishment. We're keeping people alive 15, 18, 20, 30, 40 years at a cost of $30,000 a year. For what? Because we don't want to fool with capital punishment. We don't like it. We hate it. And the whole system's coming unglued. I have a category on my counseling website, trybiblicalcounseling.net, entitled Life Only Works One Way. When God established human government, which was after the flood, he made only one law. Genesis 9, verse 6. He said, "Whoso sheddeth man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed." Why? For in the image of God made he man. An attack upon that human being, to kill that human being, is a repudiation of God. It's an attack upon God. He's not happy. And you kill another human being in cold blood, not accidentally and not in self-defense. You go out and kill somebody, first-degree murder, you die. Well, we don't like that. Oh, that's not fun. Oh, no, I don't want to think about that. It's the capstone of human law. And a society that rejects God's word is a society that rejects God's word on how to run the legal system. The world sees democracy, while the United States is founded on the principles of a democratic republic. It is not a nation governed by 51%. It is a nation governed by law. Thank you, Magna Carte. Law that's influenced by people who are most affected by that law through an elaborate bicameral system held in check by a Supreme Court. 3 equal branches of government looking out for each other, keep each other on the straight and narrow. On the other hand, democratic societies are run by the tyranny of 51%. 3 men and a woman stranded on a desert island. And the proposition put before us is, let's rape the woman. What do you think's going to happen? In a democracy, it just needs 3 people, 2 men and a woman. She's gone. In a democratic republic, not so much. The law tells us what we do and don't do. Here, popular opinion is law, and that's what we have in America today. It's more important than settled law. That's why people identify as other people, when in reality they're not, because it's the tyranny of popular opinion. Settled law is referred to as settled for a reason. And a society raised on educational pablum doesn't really know anything about that. In the 1930s, our Supreme Court recognized the Constitution as a living document, which means that it is as changeable as the weather. Those things are not written in stone. They're not chiseled out. They're floating. They're flexible. It means this. It means that. And we've got a whole raft of dumb laws, immoral laws, because a woman certainly has the right to choose. So we can murder her child. She can, we can help. And we'll even pay for it. Under the old system, that would never happen. Our politicians and social architects have capitalized on all of this, and they have diverted the masses. And we are stuck in a morass where every law, every policy is rethought. Every time there's ever a significant or highly emotional situation presented, the founders would not recognize our laws today. They would not tolerate our court system today. They would not tolerate our penal system. We wouldn't have any of this. There was a day when public schools featured the Ten Commandments. They might be hanging on a wall in a classroom. You read the Bible, or the teacher read the Bible to you every day. So many verses. You said the Pledge of Allegiance. You said the Lord's Prayer. We took all that out. What did we lose? We lost a graphic illustration. Not everybody's Christian. Not everybody agrees with it. Not everybody knows any of this stuff. But there was a decalogue chiseled in stone. This is right. This is wrong. You got the picture. You didn't have to wonder about anything. The biblical standard made it abundantly clear. We took it away for a reason. We wanted a more flexible system. Now popular opinion is law. And most societal changes today are made by a minority of loud voices. The 21st century politician must get elected. He must get elected by these vacillating and fluctuating masses before he or she can do anything of value, before they can even begin to govern. And even then, popular opinion will almost always drive their decisions. They'll take a poll, stick their finger in the air. Which way is my constituency going? And they'll vote that way, whether they believe it or not. So the uninformed and ignorant are right. We are a democracy. In fact, contrary to our constitutional structure, and all this changed while good men and women were busy providing for their families, worshiping the God of their fathers, shaking their heads at the foolishness that is now politics in America. How much longer, how much farther are we going to go?